seeker and a mental health advocate. So today I'll be talking about self-esteem. We'll be defining self-esteem. We'll be talking about the signs of low self-esteem, the signs of a healthy self-esteem, why self-esteem is so important, and how to boost your self-esteem. And I'll also be entertaining some questions by the end of the session. So let's get into it. Okay, self-esteem is defined as an individual's subjective evaluation of their own self-worth. It's basically how you view yourself, what you see in the mirror when you look at yourself, how you like and appreciate yourself, how much respect you give to yourself. Basically, that's self-esteem. So there are two kinds of people in this world. We have people with high self-esteem or healthy self-esteem, and then there are people with low self-esteem. So what are the signs of low self-esteem? The signs of low self-esteem are when you feel other people are better than you appear less confident, you have difficulty in expressing your needs, you have difficulty in saying no, you dwell on your weaknesses basically. The signs of a healthy self-esteem is when you appear more confident, you acknowledge your flaws, your weaknesses, and your strengths. You have no difficulties in expressing your needs and your emotions. You also feel like, rather, you don't feel people are better than you, but then you don't feel like you're better than anyone else too. So I just feel like most people wouldn't admit that they have low self-esteem, and that's where the main problem is. Because if you don't admit to having low self-esteem, how then can people help you? Yeah. People are being shamed for having low self-esteem these days, and the truth is it's really not their fault, because there are factors that influence our self-esteem. Those factors can be like, our mental paradigms. So our mental paradigms are our perception towards the world. Those things that we learned during our formative years, those are the things that make up our mental paradigms. Physical disabilities could also influence your self-esteem, your age, your physical limitations, and so on and so on. And then there are some people that usually have a healthy self-esteem, yeah, but then they constantly hear critical comments, negative comments from their friends, their family members, and then this would eventually take a toll on their self-esteem. And then there are also people that have like really toxic jobs, and then their boss constantly saying that, oh, you never get anything done, you're not good enough, you never do this well and stuff. It would also take a toll on your self-esteem. So I feel like self-esteem is really shaky. It's something that you can't let your guard down. The fact that you have a healthy self-esteem today does not mean that tomorrow you're going to be it's not a guarantee that you're going to have a healthy self-esteem tomorrow, basically, because life will most definitely come for your self-esteem in so many ways. So like I said, you cannot let your guard down. So one thing I also know about self-esteem is that it's really important, because most people would believe, oh, self-esteem is just liking yourself, liking what you see in the mirror. I believe it goes way beyond that. It goes way beyond liking what you see in the mirror. The truth is, when you have a healthy self-esteem, you want to shoot more shots. You want to do more things. You want to try new things out. You're not really scared of failing, basically, because these things don't determine whether you're a failure or not. You get. So when most people say stuff like, oh, self-esteem does not really matter, the truth is, when you have a low self-esteem, your chances of being successful is 0 to none, because you're not going to ask for what is rightfully yours. You're going to settle for crumbs. You're going to literally settle for what life would give you. You're not going to go there to ask for what exactly you want, basically. So that's just one thing I want you guys to know about self-esteem. And I also want you guys to know that it's not really a choice. You can't just decide you want to have a low self-esteem or a high self-esteem. It's something you learn along the way. It's the things you ingest into your head. They are the things that you take in. What are you accepting from the world? If somebody decides that, oh, okay, I can come and just shame this particular person, are you going to believe whatever the person says? It has to come from within. You have to know who you are, basically. And also, in taking more shots when you have a high self-esteem, you have to believe you deserve whatever you're asking God for, whatever you're asking the universe for, whatever you're working for. So whenever you want to do stuff, you tell yourself, I too deserve a seat at the table. I too deserve to be successful. I too deserve to own these beautiful things of life, own these things that I want, basically. But when you have a low self-esteem, you would literally see yourself finish. Exactly that term of see finish. You give it to yourself that, oh, okay, maybe these things are not meant for me. Maybe these things are meant for a specific kind of people. Maybe I don't deserve stuff like this. And to be honest, you wouldn't have to. You wouldn't even try out. You miss all the shots you take. Basically, most of the time when you see successful people and they're all confident, you might think that, oh, maybe they now became confident after they became successful. Most of the time it's that confidence that sprouted up the success in them. It's that confidence that made them to take shots and do all those things that they really wanted for themselves. That's just what I believe, and I want us all to carry this same energy. You really shouldn't. I know it's not a choice. Nobody wants to have low self-esteem. I used to battle with low self-esteem some years back. I'm not even where I want to be now, but I mean, I'm not where I was again. But then again, it's not really a choice. Like I said, there are factors that influence this whole self-esteem thing. And I mentioned the factors like your age, your disabilities, your mental paradigms, and everything. Like I said, if you constantly engage in overly critical comments, when people are just telling you you're not good enough, and you've been hearing all these things from when you were small, most definitely you're going to believe you're not good enough, which is why I always tell people to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Yeah, exactly, that's it. So that's just what I tell people too, because most of the things that we ingested whilst we were small were beyond our control, and now we're in control of what we're ingesting, we're in control of whatever we're doing now. So we should always make a conscious effort to have a really healthy self-esteem. So then you ask, how do you boost your self-esteem? The first and most important thing to do is to surround yourself with the right people, right environment. There are so many people in your life that would want to always point out your insecurities. I mean, say you have one personality flaw or anything, and then they're always constantly pointing it out, like, yo, I know I have this flaw, but you have to make a joke about it, especially if it's going to make me angry or anything. But then they will mask it up like, oh, it's a joke, why can't you take a joke, why are you so serious? Be wary of those people. I'm not saying your friends can't joke around me. I joke around with my friends all the time, but then they should be able to respect your boundaries. But if they're not respecting your boundaries, if they know that these things will hurt you, then that means you have to exit the whole situation. You have to cut them off or anything, because they're a threat to your esteem, they're a threat to your self-worth. Now, the second one is to stop comparing yourself to others. Yes, comparison is a thief of joy. So now this thing with comparing yourself to others, you feel like you're doing well, yeah, you know you're doing well, people feel like you're doing well, and then all of a sudden you see your age mate is doing supposedly way better than you are, and all of a sudden it's like all your victories are non-existent. It's like you've not done anything with your life because you start to compare them. And then some people get so obsessive with other people's races that they lose focus on their own race. They're always constantly checking out, okay, so what's this person up to now? What has this person done? What's the new thing this person has done? Forgetting your own self. Like I always say, our races are different. I've seen something happen to someone in their first year of shooting a shot, and I've seen that same thing happen to another person in their 10th year. Like I always say, our races are so different. We're not running the same race at all, and our timelines are really, really different. We all have different destinies, basically. Another way to increase your self-esteem is to give back. So now, there was one thing Pastor Bolagi said in church, that we don't give because we have enough. We give because we understand what it feels like to be in need. Givers also never lack. Sorry, a call came in. When you connection. Okay, sorry, a call came in. When you give people stuff, it makes you feel like, oh, I'm sorry, a call kept coming in. I had to cut it, but pressing my call back eventually. Okay, so when you give people stuff, it makes you feel good. There's this feel-good feeling that you have that, oh, okay, I was able to come through for this person. I was able to solve someone's problem. I was able to just lend out a helping hand, basically. So what I'm saying is now, you're not going to give because, oh, let me just give this person so that I'll feel good about myself. No, it's the genuinity. It's the reward for being genuine. Like, you can look at yourself that, oh, okay, I too have a good heart. I too can give back to people. I too can, help someone when they're in need and stuff. So that's how giving back helps you. Another one is, yes, getting to know yourself. Getting to know your strengths, your weaknesses. Getting to know your strengths in the sense that You know you're absolutely good at something. You know that nobody has to tell you you're good at something. And then if somebody should now come and tell you, oh, you're not good at this thing, you know within yourself, whatever they want, whatever they feel like you don't know how to do is their own problem. It's not your problem. You know who you are. You know the kind of person you are. You know your strengths. You get, so whatever anybody's going to say, whatever validation they feel, that's their personal problem. It's not yours. Now, knowing your weaknesses, we all have flaws. We all have, I don't know how to put it, but we all have characteristics, flaws, and everything that we know we know we need to change. Basically, for example, I tend to be quite temperamental sometimes. I tend to be quite temperamental and quick to anger sometimes. I'm aware. I know this is very toxic because I keep hurting people in my life sometimes because I'm quick to anger and everything. Not in a violent way, but I just get cranky sometimes. I know I'm aware that I need to change this. So now, if somebody should come and start making me feel bad that, oh, you're a bad person because you're so quick to anger, you don't deserve to be loved, you don't deserve, of course, no, I'm aware that, yes, fine, I'm quick to anger, but it does not mean that I'm not going to work to change myself. It does not negate all the good things that I have done. It does not negate the fact that I also have a good heart. You get, so that's really, really important. I know some people would make mistakes and then the whole world would be like, oh, you're a bad person, and then you start to believe these things, and before you know it, your self-esteem is non-existent. You really don't know what it is, and then you now even tend to gravitate towards that bad side that people really think, the fact that thing that people really think what you are. So you have to be aware of your strengths and your weaknesses. You have to acknowledge when you need change. You have to know that, oh, okay, so these are the things I need to do, these are the things I need to stop doing, and whatnot. So repeat positive affirmations. Yes, repeat positive affirmations. I know some people will say, oh, okay, it's not until you tell yourself in the mirror every time that you're strong, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're blah blah blah. The truth is, whatever we tell ourselves, our subconscious is listening. Whatever we tell ourselves, it needs to align with what God wants for us. It needs to align with the plan God wants for us. So you can't keep telling yourself stuff as a joke that, oh, I'm a bad person, I'm never going to have this, I'm never going to be rich, I'm never going to. Your subconscious is listening. So this thing with your subconscious here, you need to practice this whole confidence thing. You need to practice this because it registers in your subconscious, and before you know it, you start acting out these things that you tell yourself. You really don't know how it works, but I'm telling you, it works. That whole fake it till you make it stop, it actually works because you're registering it to your subconscious. Your subconscious is picking up that energy. So when you're telling yourself that, oh, I'm confident, I'm going to be confident today, I'm going to do this today, I'm going to do that today, your subconscious is registering all those things and everything. If you read a lot like me, you know that so many things register in your subconscious, and then that's when you act out, basically. Okay, so yes, I think that is all I have to say about self-esteem. And I also want you guys to know that there is really nothing God-given or innate about self-esteem. It has to be learned along the way. So when you see some people, oh, this girl is a naturally born, confident person, she's a natural, she's confident, she's always been confident. If you look back at her formative years, look at her parents, what were her parents telling her, what were her teachers telling her, how did she grow up? If you can trace it, you see that, oh, okay, there are people that were never saying negative stuff to her. People were always, uplifting her. People were always practicing positive affirmations on her, and that's how she became, this confident person that she grew up into. So there's nothing God given. You learn it. You learn how to be confident. To be honest, this time last 3 years, I would have never seen myself talking in front of people or talking or creating like a YouTube channel or anything, because I'm like, yo, that's not my thing. I can't talk in front of people. I'm too shy. But I mean, I see people speak all the time. I'm like, this is what I want. I like to speak to people too. Like, okay, I'm going to learn. So that way I started talking. I started talking to myself in the mirror and everything, and then from there, that's how I started talking to people. And I learned it. And it wasn't just that. I go out now. I stand tall. I look into myself. I'm really not where I want to be, like I said, but I know I'm not where I was, basically. So that brings us to the end of our session. If you have questions, I will be answering. You can type in your questions and I'll be answering them. Okay, somebody said, how do I work on my confidence when it's really low? You practice it, like I said, like I did. But what works for A might not work for B, but you practice being confident. you practice being you practice being confident. You practice being confident, and you have to rid yourself of toxic environments or toxic situations. You know, some people will tell you that, oh, your job is a very good paying job, but then your boss is always nagging. Your colleagues are not so friendly or helpful or anything. And then when you talk to people that, oh, this is what it is, my mental health is at stake at work, I'm not so happy. People don't even want to listen. They're like, yo, you have a good job. You should be grateful. The truth is, your mental health is really as important as your physical health. You have to be okay here. You have to be okay in your body too before you can be productive, before you can give back to people basically. So if you want to, if there's anything, the first step is to notice what is a threat to your confidence. Is it your spouse? Is it people that you place in high regards, constantly telling you you're not good enough or anything? You have to trace it back from where you feel like it started. You get, so that's one way to work on your self-confidence. Rid yourself of toxic environment. You know that there's something. I know it's not easy, or it's really not easy because of the way things are in Nigeria. Somebody can just tell you to do your job and everything. But I just feel like if you know it's not good for you and you keep working on yourself, you keep praying, I feel like not that I feel like, I actually know that God will come through for you, because it's not even healthy in the first place. Oh, somebody said I actually practice talking to myself in the mirror. Oh yeah, so most of the time I spend time by myself. I'm not a mad person, but I talk before I come on here. I'll talk to myself in the mirror, and then from there the words will speak. So I used to stutter a lot. Talking to the mirror helped me so much, and now I don't stutter as much when I'm talking to people. Yes, talking to yourself in the mirror helps, because even positive affirmations, when you're affirming things to yourself, when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, it gives you like this closer look to yourself and how you want yourself to be. So yes, talking to yourself in the mirror helps a whole lot. Oh yeah, the thin line between building confidence and self-esteem and being proud. Okay, now having a healthy self-esteem is knowing that you don't believe everybody's better. You don't believe you're better than everybody. You don't believe everybody's better than you. You believe you're unique in your own way. You own your uniqueness. You own your own creativity, basically. Being proud means, that means you're not really arrogant. You feel like nobody levels up to you. You're better than everybody else. Nobody has a say in whatever you have to say, basically. So that's just it. So being confident is when you don't think you're better than people, you don't think everybody's better than you, but you know who you are, you own your uniqueness and you own your creativity. So yes. What if it's your family that is toxic? Okay, so my own low self-esteem really came from family issues. My parents are not together, and they would usually fight most of the time. It made me anticipate, them fighting and everything. So that way, I wasn't really a happy child. On the other hand, my sister grew up in the same environment, and she wasn't really affected, or maybe she was. Sorry, calls kept coming in. So like I said, she wasn't really affected the way I was affected. My sister didn't grow up with a low self-esteem, but I know I did due to my family, and my dad wasn't. I grew up in the most patriarchal house. Patriarchal house in the sense that when a man is talking, a woman can talk. Those kind of things that would limit your self-esteem in every sense. So yeah, and my dad wasn't really friendly. He was most of the time always just, I don't know, I won't say shouting, but he wasn't the friendly type of person. So these kind of things would definitely reduce your self-esteem. So that was how I grew up. That was kind of environment. It was a very, very toxic environment that I grew up in. So like I said, I had to learn, unlearn, and relearn, and here we are. So any more questions? Yeah, exactly. People react differently to the same situation, because myself and my sister, we grew up in the same toxic environment, and she turned out differently. We're two different people. How she took it, I really do not know, but it was definitely not the same way I took it. So, yeah. Well, if you're shy, it means you're not confident. So in a way, I think it has a link. But then if you notice, some people are shy when it comes to meeting so many people, but then when they are with their peers, they are like really confident, and they're like the class jester and everything. They're literally the life of the party. So I feel like it has a link, but being shy does not mean your self-esteem is not healthy. Some people are just introverts. They'd rather be in their circle, than to be a large group of people. So I would say that there is a link true, but I wouldn't just write it up that, oh, once you're shy, it means your self-esteem is low. No. So if you have any more questions, you can type it in the comment section, please. Yes, pride can be an excuse for low self-esteem. You know why? It's like a defense mechanism. You feel like you already know that you feel that people are better than you, yeah. But then you don't want it to show, so you raise your shoulders high and stuff, and then you become so arrogant. So most proud people don't have a healthy self-esteem. They actually have a low self-esteem because it's a defense mechanism. So yeah, that's why I feel sharp. Because once you're confident, you're not threatened, you're not easily threatened, you know who you are, like I said, you know who you are. Nobody's going to come and make you feel lesser, nobody's going to make you feel bigger, you know who you are basically. So once you start becoming proud, yeah, threatened, and you don't want anybody to be disrespecting you anyhow. So why do you think people would want to disrespect you in the first place? So that's like a personal thing. So most proud people, basically, I just feel like that's their story. Let me see, being shy is an excuse for low self-esteem. Okay, so if there are any more questions, then I feel like we should end the session. I hope you guys were able to take one or two things from this, and I hope if you're battling with low self-esteem, I just want you to know that it's not a permanent situation. It's something that can be worked on. Trust me, you can most definitely work on you can most definitely work on your self-esteem. You can make your self-esteem healthy. I know we all battle with these kind of things. Most of the time your self-esteem is really good. You feel like it's good, and then sometimes life happens. Like you're working in a very good place, and all of a sudden you don't have any job, and you're looking at, oh, how did I get here? And everything. Your self-esteem is bound to take a dwindle. It's bound to take a toll on your self-esteem. But you have to constantly remind yourself that, oh, okay, this is who I am. Because the truth is, when life happens like that, yeah, and your self-esteem has hit rock bottom, if you don't raise it up by yourself, you cannot expose yourself to the opportunities that are coming your way. You would most likely miss them because you don't even know who you are in the first place. So whenever anything like this happens and wants to take a toll on our self-esteem, we need to make sure that these things don't affect us in any way. We need to pick ourselves up. You get, basically, that's just what I feel. So if you have any more questions, please, I want to entertain your questions. Okay, is it a bad thing if we hinge our confidence on certain things or people? Okay, so yeah, I've realized that sometimes we want to make others feel comfortable, so we make ourselves feel small. You don't want to brag or anything, and most of the time it's not like you're bragging to these people. You're basically just telling them about your life, but they feel like, oh, you're bragging. Those people are small people. I personally used to do it. I mean, I'll tell myself, oh, okay, today I'm going to be so confident, I'm going to be so, but then when I get to that place and I see that most people are, how do I put it? Most people there are not feeling confident. I want to adjust my own level of confidence to suit where they are exactly, thereby making myself feel way smaller, and then they are the ones that will not be looking at you that, oh, how far this girl, why is this girl behaving like this and stuff. So if you feel that you need to reduce your confidence on certain things or people, I just feel like you should check those people. You should check those people out. I know sometimes we're not really on the same page in life. You have friends that are doing way better than you. You're doing way better than your friends, and you don't want it to be like, oh, you don't want to make them feel bad because of where you are, or they don't want to make you feel bad because of where you are. So maybe those times you can just maybe shut up and just listen to whatever they have to say, so it won't feel like you're bragging or anything. Our generation has lost a lot of confidence issues affecting who we become in our world today. I think it's because most things are becoming more unrealistic now, based on our celebrities. I would also want to talk about how this thing has affected women, body shaming, because we have this unrealistic body standards. We have to have this whole figure 8 body, you have to have the appropriate, proportional boobs, ass, and everything. And then you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, because you don't look like those IG models, you're not good enough, and everything. The truth is, the beauty standards will become realistic and unrealistic. It's not even going to, I don't even know how to say it, but I just feel like if you're going to get validation from those unrealistic body standards, you're going to lose yourself eventually. I mean, you look at yourself in the mirror, you know you look good, but then you go on Instagram and then you see people look better and you're like, oh, I actually don't look good. Or maybe you look at yourself in the mirror again and then you go out and because nobody complimented you that, oh, you look so nice and everything, all of a sudden you start to feel bad. It's what I said the first time. Knowing who you are, knowing your uniqueness, knowing your originality, knowing who you are basically, you really wouldn't need validation from anybody else if you know who you are. And that is one way to keep your self-esteem intact. Nobody's going to have to tell you shit because you know who you are basically. So maybe words of validation from a loved one, or maybe when you get a particular status in life or something. Okay, words of yes, you would. That's why I said, I don't think I mentioned it, but most of the time, if your self-esteem is in a really good place and there is somebody in your life that you've placed in high regards, could be your spouse, could be your boss, could be anybody, their words really they hold weight, they hold a lot of weight because we like these people. So whatever they say would feel the magnanimity of our hearts. You get, so however, whatever they say would, I don't know how you would want to receive whatever they say, but if it's going to be a bad thing, it's going to affect you. Imagine your loved one is telling you stuff like, oh, you're getting ugly, or I'm no longer attracted to you, and all those kind of things. Automatically, you're going to feel like you're the ugliest person in the world because this is from somebody that you really, really love. So validation matters, and I just want to say that be mindful of what you say to people around you, be mindful of what you say to your spouses, to anybody that looks up to you, basically anybody that you know that you matter in their life, because these things will find a way to affect them, and then they start to believe these things, and it's really not good for them. So yeah. Okay, so if you have more questions. Oh, why do we hide other social media? Nobody really knows anyone anymore. Now it's all private confidence. One thing I know is that social media is 10% of whatever is going on in everybody's life. Once I knew this, I don't think there's anything you want to show me on social media that will bother me, because first of all, I do know that you're showing me what you want me to know. You're showing me what you want me to know. I've seen situations, I've seen people being rather hit rock bottom and then they go on social media and they're chilling on a yacht, chilling with their friends, Bentleys and all those kind of things. And then they look so good. They look so good and you're thinking, hey God, see my life. Why is my own life like this? It's not everything is as glamorous. I'm not saying some people are not doing better. Some people are doing good, but not everything is as glamorous. So don't feel like you're being left behind or you're not doing anything with your life. Just focus on your craft, like I said. Work on yourself and keep praying, and everything would happen in its own time. That's just what I believe. So this whole social media facade that everybody's in now, like you said, nobody really knows anybody anymore. Sometimes you're sucked into this social media and you don't even know who you are anymore because you're trying to live up to the expectations of what you think your followers would want. And I feel like it's all messed up, to be honest. It's just really, really messed up. And I think if we all just cared about self-esteem of ourselves and others, exactly, it starts from us. It starts from us. To be honest, I'm really trying to be a better person. I'm trying to watch what I say to my friends in anger. I'm trying to watch what I say to people in anger, because all these things affect, if they really like you and whatever you say to them would affect them in so many ways that you cannot even imagine. You might think that, oh, okay, I said this thing out of what do you call it? I said this thing out of anger. She should understand that it's not, I didn't mean it and everything. Trust me, even if the person forgives you, it's going to play in their subconscious, because that particular moment when they receive that information, they see the maybe truthfulness in your eyes or the anger and everything, and it's really going to affect them. So yes, that's just what I feel. We should all care about the self-esteem of others, not just ourselves. We should care about the self-esteem of our loved ones, even random people. So when people say stuff like, oh, be nice to people because you don't know what they are going through and everything, why not just be nice? Just be nice to people. Just be good. Don't be good to people because you don't know what they are going through. Everybody's going through something. We're all going through one thing or the other. Even though we appear to look good and just, we appear to be happy with life and everything, we're all going through stuff. You get, so don't attach a reason to not be nice to people or to just be mean to people. Don't say stuff like that. Yes, people close to you play a very huge role, because these are people that you hold in high regard. These are people that you run to when something good or bad happens to you. These are people you want to share your life, your memories, your money. You want to share these things with everybody. So watch what you say to your loved ones. Watch what you say to your loved ones. It's very, very important. Okay, what about jokes? Are we becoming too sensitive in our generation, or we should respect people's barriers even if the jokes are intended to be harmless? Okay, so I did mention something about like this earlier. People have boundaries. We have boundaries, like I said. So if you're going to say stuff like, oh, this person is... Oh, okay, so one of my friends just got in here. She just came in. I'm going to wave at her now. And I'm going to actually use her as an example. So my friend Tosi is she's a very kind person. She's the least problematic person that you can ever meet, basically. And whenever people want to come for her insecurities like this, she never tells them that, oh, I have boundaries, I don't like when you do this. She might be hurting, but she never says it. She just says it in her mind, and then maybe later she might just come and tell you that, oh, I didn't really like what you did, or I didn't really like what you said and everything. We're not being sensitive to jokes. There are some things that shouldn't even be joked about in the first place. That's what I just feel personally. You can joke about so many things, but you don't touch some things. That's what people don't understand. And when you touch those things that you're not supposed to touch, people and you start to get angry. People will not be like, oh, why are you so sensitive? Why are you so serious? Somebody cannot joke with you when they know, and you know that is a very, very sensitive place that they shouldn't have gone. So that's just what I feel. I don't feel that we're becoming too sensitive. I feel like if they are your friends, you know what you should say, you know what you should joke about, you know what you shouldn't joke about. Everything shouldn't be masked as a joke. People constantly hitting on your insecurity, people constantly projecting their insecurities, or you should be able to decipher which, you should be able to know which is which, so you know which one to laugh about, and you know which one to remind you that, oh, okay, I have boundaries, I don't like this, whoever do this again, and all. So yeah. Okay, so if you have any more questions, let me know. Yes, respect people's emotions. It's not always about you. It's not always about you. Like I said, we're all going through stuff and we're all just trying to, move on. So any little thing that you say to people at any particular point in time will carry weight, especially if, whether you know them or not. I personally have a very nonchalant attitude. I don't really care about what people say. You get busy, but I realized as I've grown older, I realized that not everybody's like me. Most people care about what people say. I used to think that, oh, because I don't care about what people say, because I don't do this, I don't do that, the whole world is like this. And I, come to realize that that's not it. So ever since I learned that, I've been more flexible. That, oh, okay, because you as a human, you might care a lot about what people say. I tell them, don't let these things affect you. Know who you are. If somebody come and tell you that, oh, maybe you're a bad person and you know you're a good person, don't let it phase you, because you know you're not. Some people will start to think that, oh, because this person has said I'm a bad person, that means everybody in this world is thinking I'm a bad person, and then they actually start to become bad. So it's really, that's why I said be careful of what you ingest. It's really everything that determines what you inject into your subconscious. It's so important. Don't listen to naysayers, don't listen to whatever people are saying. Know yourself. That's so important. Know who you are, so that whenever anybody is coming to say anything, you know it's not true, and you can easily delete it. That's just delete it from your memory or anything. That's how I do, because I know it's not true, basically. Oh, thanks. That was it. You're welcome. Okay, so if you have more questions, I'm not trying to wrap up the session fast, but I'm just saying, because I can't see more questions, but then it's almost 7, and it's almost time for Big Brother. So yeah. Okay, so if you have more questions, you can type it in the comment section of the post on at We Are the Fifth. Also, at We Are the Fifth, it is an honor to speak on your live. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for having me. I really had a good time. I learned a lot, and I'm really hopeful that you guys were able to take a thing or two from this live session. I really, really appreciate it. So, bye.